Welcome back to Gracie Meets. I know most of you guys are probably tired of just eating the side dishes of the show, the interview tips. So today, I'm diving straight into the main course, the interviews. The interviews are what caused me to start this podcast in the first place. So I'm very excited to announce the first interviewee, Miss Faith Gordon.
Hey, thank you so much for inviting me and letting me do this interview for you. My name is Faith Gordon, and I'm a professional martial arts instructor and school operator at Hero Martial Arts Academy, and I'm 28 years old.
I know it sounds pretty self-explanatory, but how would you describe your job to a teenager like myself?
So my job is pretty awesome. It's basically I have the privilege of teaching anybody from the age of like 4 all the way up to, as old as they get, martial arts skills and how to become a better person and defend themselves better and just live their lives the best they can through the martial arts and help them develop the confidence in themselves to live their best life.
That's great. What are some ways that make your job more unique than, say, a doctor or a film director?
Well, that's a great question. I think one really big thing that it makes my job unique is that it's kind of like a hobby job. So it's something similar to like being an artist or a singer or something like that. It's something that kind of starts out as a hobby. Like you start training in martial arts, and from there you develop a love for it. And I honestly never even thought about teaching martial arts until later on, but I'm sure I'll get to that part later. But I think that's one of the biggest things that makes it stand out. And of course our uniforms and the fact that we get to break boards and stuff like that too.
That's so cool. Were there any schooling or training requirements to become a martial arts instructor, or were you just able to become one with time?
Yeah, definitely there is. So obviously you have to train and know martial arts to teach it, right? You can't teach something you don't have. We always explain it like this, like if I don't have a pen, I can't give you a pen, right? So I have to know and be equipped with some of the skills first, right? So that's the first step, is to start training. I wasn't a black belt when I started teaching, so you don't have to necessarily be a black belt. You just have to be a really good communicator and someone who's, dedicated to training and leading by example in that way too. So that would be the first step. And then also we have what we call our leadership training program. And I remember I was the oldest person in that program for a long time because it was right when Hero first opened. So I was like 18 years old and the class was like 10-year-olds. But it was that's where I started. It's just learning, how to hold targets, how to basically like public speaking skills, how to lead a group of students, and then just practicing and helping out in classes for a long time until I went through enough training and earned my stripes and was able to teach by myself.
I see. How long did your training take?
So my training to earn my black belt is a minimum of 3 years, but my training for my job really was maybe like a year into it. So depending on your age and your ability level and things like that, it'll take a certain amount of time. So for instance, we have kids starting in our leadership program at 8 right now, who, if they go through the whole entire thing, for instance, we have our leadership program, we have our future instructor program, which starts teaching them more advanced leadership and teaching skills. And then we also have our Hero Instructor Training Program, our HIT program, which is where you really learn how to, really teach large groups and manage a big, classroom of students, and also learning how to maybe even operate a school and different management skills in that course too. So that could take you, maybe even like upwards of like 10 years if you went all the way from like 8 years old all the way through. But for me, I would say for me to get to the point where I was teaching full time, that probably took like about a year or so. And then for me to get to the point where I was managing and operating the school, I would say about 5 years.
Wow. What is your work environment like at the dojo?
Oh, it's awesome. It's awesome. And I'm around a lot of positive people all the time, people who are really supportive and helping me maintain a positive mindset and always make sure I'm bettering myself. We have an awesome team. We like to hire like-minded people, and they definitely, everyone on the team is really supportive, and it's a really great work environment. I think also it's really fun working with kids and just families that are all like-minded as well, and just everybody's super supportive and always, positive too. So I think that makes a huge difference in anybody's life, because when, you're going to go home and you'll spend a lot of time at home, but as you get older, you're going to spend a lot of time at work. So it's super important to make sure that, you're picking a job that you're passionate about, right? And that isn't only just going to make you a lot of money, but something that you're passionate about, and then people there are going to, help you live your best life too.
That's great. Why did you pick this profession, and when was that switch flipped that made you know this is what you wanted to do with your future?
Honestly, when I graduated high school, I went to Sam Houston for like a semester and decided that wasn't really the route I wanted to go. I wanted to be a nurse, and I changed my mind. I wanted to be a teacher. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And I was training in martial arts at the time, and I got offered a job at Hero, so I took it. And my first job at Hero was just working the front desk and taking payments, making phone calls, stuff like that. And I think I just, I was training in martial arts and I liked it. And Master Art Savant, my boss, told me that he saw something in me. And I think, for the first time, if somebody had told me they believed in me. And so I was like, okay, I'll try it. I was really nervous. I actually didn't even want to teach martial arts. I was like crying. I didn't really even want to do it at first. I just wanted to do my thing. And but once he convinced me to do it, I kind of realized that I was capable of much more than I gave myself credit for. Because I'm a really shy person, and I tended to steer clear of standing in front of crowds and doing anything. But through this, it definitely helped me, gain confidence in myself and realize that I'm capable of doing much more than I ever thought I could. But anyway, when I started teaching, I realized, I kind of like this, and I love watching people grow and what the martial arts has done for me. I want to help give that to other people too. So I think, when I was 21, I made the commitment to dedicate the rest of my life to, teaching the martial arts and becoming the best I could be at that. So I think that was probably the age that it happened. But honestly, I didn't even know what I wanted to do for a while there. And I just kind of started doing it, and it just kind of happened,
It's so cool how people will come into your life and push you, and you don't really know how it affects you until you know that this is what you want to do.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's crazy, and it's cool to now hopefully I'm that person for people, So it's and now I can see myself doing that for others, and it took me a while to get where I am today, but that's only because Hero was just starting out when I joined. So yeah, I think for others now it's really cool for me because I get to now train other instructors and watch them go through the same path I did, but except they get to do it quicker because we've learned and we're able to be more efficient with training people. But yeah, it's definitely really cool.
So how would a high schooler like me become someone like you?
If specifically thinking about martial arts and being a martial arts instructor, you definitely want to first start off by finding the school that's right for you. I can suggest one for you, but definitely, yeah, just start training and be brave. Martial arts training can kind of just initially sound intimidating and feel intimidating, but if you go to the right place, then it won't be. You'll have a great time and you'll learn a lot about yourself and others. And then from there, you'll just want to ask if they have any kind of training program or advanced leadership program that will help you get there. And yeah, that's the best way to start is just by, taking that first leap of faith, So, but definitely that would be the first place to start right there.
You know what everyone says when it comes to a sport? Practice, practice, practice. And it looks like this is no exception.
Oh yeah. And trust me when I say I'm not the most talented. I mean, I have my talents and I have my skills, but there were many instructors that they were there before I was there or were helping out, or people that were, more skilled than me in class. But I made it as far as I am today just because I just didn't give up, So hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard, and that's for sure.
I love that quote. It applies to a career as well as life in general. I think that's a great way to end my first interview. I'd like to thank you so much, Miss Faith, for being on Gracie Meets. This means a lot to me, and I'm so glad you gave me the opportunity to interview you.
Thank you. This was a lot of fun, so I really appreciate it. Let me know if you need anything in the future.
This was a great way to kick off the first interview of Gracie Meets. I personally never would have thought of turning a hobby like martial arts into a job. That's what makes this job so unique, and that's perfect because there's no such thing as a normal teenager. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. If you like Gracie Meets, subscribe so you can listen every time a new episode is dropped, and follow Gracie Meets on Instagram at gracie.meets. Tune in next Saturday for an interesting interview with a senior crisis management specialist.